Hello, one. This is Doug again. I got a dry eraser board here, and what I got is it's a defensive perimeter, and this is more of a last stand. All right. This is strictly a scenario with WROL, without rules of law. This is strictly Mad Max scenario or whatever, a complete collapse anywhere in the world. And I'm going to go through a lot of stuff I learned in the military and all that. And basically, it's about defending property, defending your house outside. I'm not going in great detail defending a house by, the room by room, that kind of stuff. Okay, we go over here. As see, this is a street right here, the black, and driveway. Here's a garage. Here's a house. Here's two vehicles that'd be parked in the back. Fire pit. Okay, here's a building right here. This is another house, which would be a next door neighbor if you have one. And the green here is actually it's a perfect square. It's trees and shrubs. It's almost really impenetrable, is because there's also wire that goes all the way around. On the other side of this right here, at the end, is a building. So there's no way it can be avenues of approach or entrance from that way. Okay, one of the things that I'm going to start off with is how, we're talking this scenario. I'm going to say you get a 15-man team or squad. Break it up to maybe like 3 teams of 5. Each has different responsibilities. But I'm going to go right over here first. Oh, well, first I want to explain what these are. You see the lines here? These are sectors of fire I got, which is overlapping sectors of fire. So the guy on your left, the guy on your right, you're intersecting each other, so you don't miss anything. All right, any targets or whatever that comes up to you. But what I got back here on this property, the brown here is a small parapet, not 4 feet deep fighting hole, but somewhere you can lay down. Here, and then there's one here. But as you see, like right up here, overlapping fields of fire. There's sectors of fire. And on the other side of this, I wish I had a bigger dry eraser board, but it's really open. Okay, house, you can't see past the house, so anything over here would be called a dead space. You can't see it. Okay. Another thing, here's a street that goes through here. Here's a building. Right across the street and all that. Generally, you might want a listening post, observation post. It's an observation post, something that takes place during the day. You can visually see. When you're out there on observation posts and stuff, things that you might have is one of them small backpacks that carry, let's say, some food with you for a day, plenty of water, ammo. You might need some kind of them blankets or something like that, that they look like tin foil. Listening posts at night, because you can't see everything in front of you. You can only hear. But one thing you're always going to have is, if you could afford night vision, that would be great. Most people can't. I can't yet. But you always have binoculars. You can see anywhere around. And that's what the job is here. The street here, and any kind of WROL, one of the things is we don't want to channelize movement so much where people cannot drive past your house. You don't want to throw out some railroad ties or anything that's going to stop traffic. Let people pass. Another thing here I got here. This is a cruel element. The house, it's 2 floors. All right. In front of the house, 2 people. There's a porch. There's underneath the porch. See the sectors of fire that can go out? There are 2 people underneath the porch. Right here is on the 2nd floor. There's a 2nd floor window, which you might, you want to cover with a long rifle, 30-06, whatever, and has a scope that they can notice things from far away. And the same thing at the other side. There's a porch here. All right, same thing, that they can look over literally everything that nobody can see. See, anybody from the outside can't see in, but it's vice versa. So you got to be in the shrubs or the brush. I guess another thing I could have done. Oh, I did it. Right here could be a long rifle. What they do is what they're doing is a visual reconnaissance. They see if anybody's approaching your perimeter. Okay. What's right here? This is a stump. Okay. But what you also want somebody on the porch that also is going to have maybe a long rifle, a scope, and though they can go back and forth. All right, checking. Anybody approaches the perimeter and stuff, of course we do not shoot them. What we do is, we're talking without rules of law. If you see people straggling, and there's going to be people straggling, what they do is you're going to have two-man teams. These two guys, they can go out there. LPOP can cover. The big thing is making sure that they don't have hostile intentions. All right, and hey, what are you up to? What are you doing? At nighttime, you got to remember something. We're not going to get you're not going to clearly see people what gear they have. They might have a rifle or whatever they might have. You don't know that, but you have to ask. And that's why we got LPOPs. LPOPs, that's something you want to rotate every 4 hours, let's say from noon to 4. And then have somebody else rotating in. And how I got this set up is generally about 8 people are always awake. You always have a couple people in your squad always resting. 2 or 3 people are always resting. And they're also what they're going to be a first responder, reactionary force. Anything over here, and avenues approach can be any direction from here. If people are going to come on this side of the fencing and the tree line, they might try to sneak through. Likely avenue of approach would be anything coming this way. The idea is anybody with any kind of firearms or anything like that, that they're standing their post, you're not always going to want a single shot, especially if there's 5 or 10 people coming or whatever. But what you're going to want is that you're going to want like an AR system, maybe an AK system, something that has 10 to 15 round magazines or something like that. Single shots are excellent because they're great for using with the scope and they got long range. Okay, another thing along with this is the yellow is very instrumental. From here, from the house, side of the house to the tree line is about, let's say 20 feet. I'm rounding it off. And the same thing from the garage to the house. If we know we're in a WROL situation, hopefully we have the preparations that we want concertina wire. You want the rolls. You want 2 rolls on the ground, 1 on top, on both sides. The other thing, what we would want is, you see, I got little lines here. Them are rows, and what them are is, it's like if you take 2 stakes, all right, and you take barbed wire, and you go 20 feet across, and you go 6 inches apart. And the idea is you do that after the concertina wire. You don't go every 3 feet. They got to jump over it. What you're doing is you're slowing them down. You're channelizing them in. That if you don't want them to come through here, you want them. You're forcing them to try to come through the front of the house or the entrance of the house. Same thing here. But you want them to rows of these. Concertina wire is only about $60, and you want them on stakes. Stake them to the ground, right apart. You want 3 rows, 4 rows, and you want 6 inches in between. You don't want 2 feet so they can just hop over. But what you want is you want 6 to 8 inches, 9 inches, so they trip. If they can get through the concertina wire, you want to slow them down, and you want them entangled here and here. Of course, in doing so, people getting snagged up and all that, are going to hurt them, of course not. Big thing is question, talk to them, that kind of stuff. Doing this, what's important about this entire thing here is communication. You want them to have, walkie-talkies, good ones, not the Walmart specials, like get the deer hunters, like Midland. Walkie-talkies. So everybody here can talk. And essentially, inside the house is going to be the command center. Alright? But if it looks like people are going to come here, you can move guys from here to the side of the house, or you got the tree stumps or whatever to help defend. Or they can go through the back, go through the house and defend it. But this is really good fields of fire. Like I said, but the big thing is you always got your like an observation post, like on the 2nd floor, where they're looking down, and they got their scope long rifles. But over here is really essential. 260 yards back is a river. And the thing is, we don't have so much supplies or whatever we can take care of in a house. But if we had to go down there, let's say do laundry or get water, we're going to see other people there. And we're not going to give anybody a hard time or anything like that. You got to be passive. If somebody needs help, you got to help them. But, you know, talk to, and that's how, you know, getting to talk to people, get to know them, the community. You know, there's going to be people, so we can expect stragglers. But one thing that's always important, even as you have assigned posts, LPOP, sectors of fire, right? Assigned positions where people are here, whether it's in the front of the house, on the porch, you know, on the balconies, right? Or here. People, you know, patient, you know, they'll patiently sit there and they're watching you with whether it's binoculars, whether it's a scope, night vision. They're going to be watching you and finding out how are they going to get through these positions. They're going to pay attention to movements, everything, rotating out if somebody's got to go to the bathroom. But in any kind of defense position like this is strictly military, is that you have to understand people got to eat, they got to take bathroom breaks, they got to take time to eat, all that other stuff. Rotating people in, if they stay out here too long, they're not paying attention. You always send people out here a pair of two, because one gets bored, he'll go to sleep. I've seen that a lot in the military. Okay, okay. Like I said, these are avenues of approach, is all anything that's coming. These are sectors of fire. All right. You might at night or something like that have somebody doing like a roving patrol. And what is that? A roving patrol is something where you have somebody, you know, on your team walking around out here, checking if any, you know, seeing if there's any security breaches or any possible. But it is important to establish passwords. Every couple hours, switch them around. If I'm on channel 1 on their CB radio or walkie-talkies, in 2 hours or 4 hours, however you want to do it, I might say, hey, go to 3, go to 5, 7, or whatever. How do you know if you're going to be attacked? Well, first thing, you might hear any kind of gunshots, but that is up to those that are on like posts, or important posts, listening posts, observation posts. All right, right on top, you know, with the long rifles and stuff like that, they have to be able to see. All right, and what they do, you can have a whistle, you can have a password or something. Hey, this is red fire, sun fire, we're being attacked, or whatever it takes. Go to your assigned positions. You have to make sure, blow a whistle. If you can have any kind of one of them blow horns, you know. But anytime somebody approaches a house, nobody's just randomly just shooting at them. But what you do is you send the 2 guys here out. You send them out. Hey, what are you doing here? Ask them, you know, and if they might need a can of food or a bottle of water, whatever they need, hey, just give it to them. But there's no defense that's, you know, it's perfect. There's no defense that's actually perfect. And you're saying, gee, well, why do we have to learn how to defend the house? Is because your family might be in the house, you got children, you got your memories in the house, and this is where your supplies are, this is where your food is. You got your bullets, beans, and ammo. Importantly, your food, your children. You know, we're at the end of August right now. If something would happen in the next 6 months, we just can't get, you know, we don't have a bug out location where we can go up to a cottage or a log cabin. What are we supposed to do? You know, what we're doing is we leave and go to a campground and live in a tent. November, December, January, February, where it's minus 50 degrees here in Wisconsin. But you always make sure, you always have security. People are next to each other. Position here, 1, 2, 3, 4. You got here at the windows, here and here. That's a balcony. Balcony right here. Another balcony. But here's the porch. You got intersectors of fire. Everybody's paying attention what's happening in each person's area of responsibility. Your listening post, observation post, you're going to be able to see things downrange. You're going to have binoculars all out, people paying attention. But, you know, it requires a tremendous amount of discipline. The big thing is preventing 50 people or whatever all at once from coming. Slowing them down, channelizing the enemy, so he ain't going to go through the concertina wire or your staked wire here and here. If they can get through here, they'll be able to overrun. But keeping the enemy right up front, or I shouldn't say enemy, you know, anybody with possible intent. But other than that, you're going to want, you can move things around. You don't necessarily have to do everything the way I just did it here. But paying attention, utilizing